So hi everybody and welcome back to Unreal Engine 5 full game tutorial series for absolute beginners. This is video 42 and in this video we go on with planning. In our last video we made already our general planning and we said okay, we make a first person horror game and we will use some assets and so the general planning. And now we want to go and plan a little bit more specific, and to do this I will use again a very custom cheap management system. You probably know I made this picture here with Scrum. It is this picture here. You have here the start point. Here you make your task. Then you have here your working time, where you set your time, how you want to work, how much time you spend on the task. And here at this point you check if the task is good. If it's not good, you send it back to the working time and you spend a little bit more time and to rework it till you are happy. And then after this point you say okay, the task is okay, the next phase is later, we will check it. So that is a very cheap version of the Scrum management system, but of course Scrum is a professional tool, so if you want use it in a right way, you have to read up how to use Scrum. And there are even more advanced management systems for bigger projects, but I use this very customized Scrum technique. So what I mean with that is I have here, I will create again my task list. I give me some time for it. And later I'm finished. I pull it here and later I test it. You can see it's straightforward, easy, and I don't need even this picture here. So with that said, we need planning. We was not finished. So what I make is now I have already made here something overview. What I mean with an overview, how I want to have this. And you can see I have here a very high level view. High level means you don't care about details, you want just know what you want to do, and you can point to the block and say okay, this I want to do and I don't care about the details right now, and then I want to do this and do this. And you can see here I start, normally I would go start here and say I want to start the game, and then I think about what I do here, then gameplay, and then finish game. But you can see here it's something new. So compared to our other game which I made, here we have get assets and references. What is this block here? Get assets and references. I talked this also in the last video and said because we have less time, 7 days is really less time, so I will not create all assets from scratch. I will not, I'm not a designer, and therefore I get some assets from the marketplace, free assets, or if you have, well, if you want, you can purchase assets, but you get anyhow assets and references. And this is the first step what we have to do. So in our planning phase, I already told you that I have made here my I get some assets. It must be not complete, but it is better the more you know. And the reason for that is because if you know which assets you want to use in your game, then you don't have to create them. Let's make here an example. In my last video I said I want to use the horror engine, and the horror engine has already an inventory. For example, if I don't know that I'm using the horror engine with the inventory, then probably I have to create perhaps an inventory, and that would take a lot of time. Now that I know that I'm getting this horror engine which has an inventory, I can skip the whole process. That's fantastic. But careful, that means not it will automatically work. We still have to integrate it in our project and make it work and to polish it a little bit, and we see this later. But so you get the idea what the first part is. So get free assets, references, and there is one more bad part about this. Of course, just getting it from the marketplace means not you know how to use them. Normally that takes much time to understand them, to learn them, and to integrate in projects. So in 7 days you will not do this normally, but perhaps you can, depends on how quick you can learn or how good you have in documentation. Or there's another option. You can contact the asset creator. Most time they will help you normally because they try to make a good repetition, and if they are selling these assets for money, of course they want to support their customers. Then you can contact them and ask specific optimizations, and I will show you this later as well. But right now we are a little bit in the planning, so this is the first step. The next step is very straightforward. After that, when we know all the assets and references, then I have here 3 blocks. The start game. What is the start game? The start game, like in my other game, this is the start point, right? So when you open up the game, what should happen? In my case, I make it very, very simple. I will, again, main menu. That's enough for me. Then we will talk about gameplay and then how to finish the game, which means we set also goals and all this kind of stuff here as well in gameplay and finish. And this kind of stuff we skip now, but we will concentrate now here and here a little bit. Perhaps here first and then here. Okay, this was this overview, and this is high-level overview called because I don't care about details. I want just point out here I am now. And now I have to think about this block. And when I start to think about this block, what I do, I take this block here and create a new one. And here you can see here I take this one here out, and now I make it here. So I open this up and you can see get assets and interface, and I have not created it all. Let's work a little bit. So we know in my last video I have the horror engine. I use the horror engine. I use the asset, this windmill asset, windmill, I call it windmill. I don't know which is absolute the name, but okay, use the horror engine and the windmill asset. Normally I wanted to use more assets, but perhaps I used later more assets, but right now I know only this assets. And before I told you it is normally better to have all here. What was the reason again? Yes, then I know which what I can skip and don't have to create my own. But right now I say I will use only this one. And we also said we try to make a game very fast. Don't waste too much time because we will need this time in other places, not in organization purposes. Management is very important, but yeah, you can here over manage it and then waste just your time. That's not the point. So here when I need other assets, I can add them, but right now I'm happy with them. And I want to show you here something. And what I want to show you, let's save this one here, Control S. And let's go here for the engine here. Here in this library, I want to show you that if you have many assets, that's nice. Here was this detective asset, which I wanted to show you. Normally take yeah, that's here, building detective. This one I wanted normally too, but why I say normally? Look what we have here. We have a problem. It's a version. It's not updated. There are ways you can update this on your own, because when you have here version numbers, this version numbers means it could be that some blueprints are not working, or the lightning is not working, or it's not set up, or let's say this setup place is not really working or something like that. But important is, for example, hey, I want only these assets here, right? These assets are static mesh assets. Normally there are different ways you update this one on your own, or you just create this project and you just migrate these assets into your level. That's also possible, because static assets are most time the same thing. There are other things which are not working. Or what you can also do is you still use this one and kick out later all the errors out, and that's worked too. But I skipped now this process because that takes much time. But here I want to mention one more thing. If you get assets, you need normally a very good documentation. Like I said, for beginners, it's very hard to understand this. For example, for me, the designing and how they made it. And some assets are really cool, or they provide very nice information, documentation. In this way, this detective things here, I didn't know it too, but look what they are providing. They are providing a whole course. When I click on this one here, and then it goes to this community site, look what they are providing. That's crazy. That's nice. You can see I can start here the stores, getting the detective office started. Then you can start, and you can see here are all the things what they are explaining now, what they are doing here. Let's see a little bit. So what they are doing. You can see they are trying to explain all this whole assets. And when you have something like that as a starter, you can be happy, because the most assets have not this, which means they are not really explaining this. You should know already a lot of things, and then you have to use your knowledge to make. But if you have something like that, that's crazy nice. So you can get started. They're showing how they build these levels, for example. If you have no idea like me level design, then this would be nice probably. Then they are showing blueprints as well anywhere, how they made this one here and so on. So this is fantastic if you found something like that. And they explaining how they made this detective asset. So I think you get the idea, right? So when you get assets, try oh wait a second, try to get good documentations. If they have something like that that's up awesome, then you can just follow this tutorials what they have. And if there is nothing, sometimes there is nothing, what you can do is, and don't forget this, just contact the creator, this content creator. Just write him a mail, then probably he will invite you perhaps in a Discord server, and then talk about you. Perhaps he is then trying to help you if you have specific questions. But first try to solve it on your own, and then if you have problems, ask this specific question, because most time they will try to help you, but I don't know if they have so much time, because they are working on other things as well probably. But just ask them. So with that said, I think we are good to go here more in our planning phase. Let me open this one again here. Let's go here to work. So, all right, this is the asset. So what you have to do, you get this asset. I have this horror engine, and then of course you have to examine this horror engine. For example, I showed you this in the last time. What you can do, you download all this in your file. Let me show you this here. Now I downloaded all the assets. Here is the horror engine. I created this horror engine, and here is this windmill. Let's make them in setting color so we can distinguish them faster. Let's say I set this color, just oops. Let's set this one, set color, and not color. Let's set color. Oh, come on. Set color, new color. And what you can do is, after you found any color, you can set it here. That's why I wanted to do here, because I can use them later in other places too when it's working. It's working now. All right, so then you said this is the windmill, which I downloaded. This is the horror engine, which I downloaded. Or I created, and all the other things, I don't know what they are. That was just testing around or something like that. And they are probably nothing. I'm not sure. Perhaps there are other things here as well. But these two, I know, I have from stores. So important is now that you have to know how to use them. And the best way is just open the example maps, right? For example, this windmill here, you go to the maps. There is sometimes an overview map. You can go to this one, or you can go just to the demo map. Let's open up this demo map. And then check out what they have there in this demo map. And here, this is the demo map. Look this. I can use it. So without anything, let's make a play from here. All right. We can play from here, and then if you want to see how it looks like in a game, you can press F11. So it's a full screen. It looks like a full screen then. Okay, this is the view which you have later, yes. And you can see this is already combined with the horror engine. This is the first person here. That's nice. Yes, I can use this already. And I did nothing, but careful. This kind of stuff must be optimized, of course. Okay, let's close this here for a moment. And of course you have to check if you really like this map, and then you have knowledge. You need a little bit knowledge about game design, because now you have this level, but perhaps you don't like it, or you want to change it, or you want to add stuff here, or depends what you want. And here to do this, you need level design knowledge. Level design in different kinds. You say, okay, let's change this hills here. How we can change the hills? Very easy. We select the landscape, go to landscape mode, and then I don't know, let's make here a little bit something new. You can see I made here my own hill now, but I don't want to change too much right now. But you can see I changed already a little bit this hill, a little bit, and I can test it. Yes, my own hill. And you can change here the landscape like you want. This is more level designed, and of course you can add here, let's go here, that's okay. Then you can go here and add your own assets, and yeah, you can start with level design if you want, but we are not talking about level design right now. But this is the what we are talking about. You have to check all these assets if you like them. Perhaps you don't like this level design here, then you have clear it or create your own. For example, then you go here, go to file, new level, and then you create your own level. But you can use, of course, the assets which you downloaded. For example, we have here the windmill. Then you go to the meshes and say, okay, here are the meshes which I make, and then you can start building your own whatever you like, and you can add more assets. This is really level designer. He gets assets and then he builds a level. And if you are a programmer and you have no clue about level design, then you can use this start template here and change it and make a variation. That's what I will do, because I will not start creating from scratch. I will just use this one here and change it, or even keep it, and then see if this fits in my gameplay and integrate it. So with that said, we are still in organization, right? We are here. So that was this. Ooh, where is it? Okay, here. This is this. Let me click this one. So this was this windmill. Then you have, of course, check out the horror engine as well. Horror engine I have downloaded here too, right? So here is the horror engine now. And now the best way is all time go to the overview map. Here is the overview. This, I think I showed you this already. And then you can start, and then you can see, hey, what we have here. We have here again static meshes. Perhaps you use them, some of them. We have here doors and something like. But interesting is here are also blueprints which I want to use. Hey, nice. We have here lighter in the dark and a torch and other light things, and say, yeah, that can I use in my level. And then you think what else you need. Perhaps you need candles, books, or whatever they have here provided already, which means you have not created them from scratch. And then this here, all this kind of stuff, you go here and get assets and reference and make here our own list what you want to use. Because okay, here I said I want to use the horror engine. Here I said I want to use the windmill. This is just the pack, right? But I want not use the whole horror engine assets here. You can see here are a million assets which perhaps I'm only interested in, let's say, my game. I'm only interested really in a, where is that? In a lighter. For example, I don't need this camera. I need just a lighter, which is this one. Perhaps I use a flashlight too. It depends, a lighter or a flashlight. There is anywhere a pistol. Perhaps I use a pistol. I can change it later. And the nice thing is these assets here are already set up so that you can use it with the horror engine, which means when I start this game, this one, they work already together, and that's perfect for me, which means I can use this when I create my level later. Let me show you what I mean with that. When I make here a new level, let's go here to the new level. And here on world settings, I go here and say, okay, I want to use the horror engine game mode. So where is the game mode? You can see here's nothing. I go here to game mode horror engine. Where is it? I'm blind again, like all the time. There is it. I'm blind. So here we have the game mode horror engine, and the game mode horror engine has some setups, which means if I start now, I use already the horror engine walk step and all this kind of stuff. And now you can see that was a new level, right? Let me integrate some assets here. For example, I wanted this lighter. You go here to the horror engine right here. For example, lighter, and or find this blueprint. I don't know, liter, that was not the right light. Hello, what's going on? Again, okay, we have here a flashlight. Let me demonstrate this flashlight. And then I take carefully what you take. There is just the assets or just the blueprint. I want the blueprint because I can interact then with the blueprint. Let's place it here. Right click, play from here, and now you can see I can already take it because it has already this inventory system. You have to know now that is the inventory. Okay, we can't see it now because it's not dark, but this flashlight is absolute powerful. That is over. I think this has too much light, but when I kick out here, for example, a little bit light, then you will see that this one will work. Now let's do it now. Where's my light? Where was it? Here. Play from here. Where is it? All right, and now you can use, yeah, you see it better. But you see how fast you can set something up, right? And this is our phase 2, right? What we have to do. And then you say, okay, in horror engine, I want only the flashlight or the lighter, not all. And make a list what you want to use. And in windmill, perhaps in my case, I just take the whole demo level and change it. And then you write all this information down. And I skip now this writing all the information down because I want to show you, let's go a little bit more here. So when you have this, we are, oops, let's go overview again. And that's why we make the overview. So here, we are still here at this point. We will not start with this one here because, like I said, only, let's go back to this assets again, only because you have downloaded these assets and they are available. That means not you can use them directly. So in my case, for example, let's go to this level again. Let's go here where I was, to windmill. Normally what you can do is, or what we will do is, we will create our own game folder here. Let's do it now, why not? So you have here content, and in content, let's clean this up, and let's create our game folder that we can do already. This is our game folder. I write here game, better at the name, because game is a name which could be reserved. Game, my game, or something like so. My game folder. All right, let's set the color as well, so I know this is not the downloaded folder. Let's set here perhaps another color. Let's set it just, I don't know. I take this one here. And now I have my own game folder. The reason is why I make this game folder later. I put all the things what I want to create here. Because this is the horror engine, this is the windmill, and here I don't know what the other things is. The mega scan is here, anything. Movies and so on, they are scattered. That's not good. Normally what you have to do is as well, when you download something, and you see something like so scattered around, put them also in a folder. So for example, if you have this horror engine, then and other things which belongs to this horror engine, you should put them in a separate folder that you have not something like that. It's just organization purpose. Perhaps you can make it even better than me, but you can see this is already irritating. Now I have to think, what is that? Well, to what folder it belongs, and that's already bad thing. All right, but this one is just organization. That's not so important. Let's go to the windmill, which I wanted to show you one more thing before we finish our start organization. And the start organization is, oops, I said before, just because we have now downloaded, we have examined. So what I mean examined, you have checked which assets you want. Let's write it perhaps. Okay, I take the flashlight just for fun here, and I take here in windmill, I take perhaps here the demo level. And this one is not perfect, but enough for demonstration purposes. Okay, this one I make. Let's put it a little bit more. This belongs to this one. This belongs to this one. That's enough. Save. That's enough for organization purposes. Let's go on. So I have now this flashlight and this demo level. All right, let's start with this demo level. Yeah, let's start with this demo level. So I go to this windmill. First of all, I go here, for example, to my game folder, and I need a new folder. I call it map. Or level, you can call it level, map, what you like. Let's call it level. And in this level, I want save now my start level or something like that. Normally, I would start with a game menu map, game menu level, which has nothing in it. And that's why we skip this part and go directly to the windmill, go to maps. And here, I go again to this demo level of this windmill. Let's make it on save. And here, this is the thing which comes with the windmill. But the problem is, and I want to show you this, is when you start this game here, you can see this dot in the middle of this horror engine is now big. That's not by default. I made this because we have to change a little bit. Then the next thing, when we start this again, can you hear this one? So you hear here something like walk steps. This is not by default here as well, because the horror engine reacts has a trace system for footsteps, which is advanced actually. So it depends on the surface. It will react to the surface, but it is not reacting to landscape. It is reacting to anything. And this one I have changed too, and that I mean that you have later adjust, or yes, you have to make your level, you change the level like you need it. It is not there automatically. Like you make first this level design, then you see, oh, we have here problems and here problems. And let me show you what I made here for test purposes, demonstration purposes. Here my dark scene, I copied one of this level. I kicked all the light out. I just placed here a moon, which I take from the horror engine. Well, let me demonstrate it you from scratch. I think it's easier to understand. Yeah, let's go back to this one here. It's easier to understand. When I explain something, it's hard to understand for beginners. Let's make it this way. So I make here right click. I go here to duplicate, and you can see now I can call this. And let's say this is windmill dark times detective. Let's call it at night. So, and now I open up this at night. Don't save that. So this is now here. I can change now all what I want. And because it's night, let's kick out, for example, light. I'm not the perfect designer, and that's the problem, because there are ways to make it right and ways to make it wrong. Probably I make it wrong, but yeah, let's write here on top light to find all the lights, and then I kick out the skylight. This point lights I can keep probably. What I kick out? Why I have so much light here? Probably it's a sky sphere. That's why. Let's kick this out. BP sky sphere, it's gone. What I need else? Atmospherisch fog, it's gone. And yeah, that looks really dark. That's good. But let's make this one so far. So now I have almost a dark scene, right? And then you can go on and say, here are some lights, but now I need, for example, a moon. And this moon was in the horror engine. What I do is now, nice thing, I go here to the horror engine and say, okay, I click here on this folder on top, and now there was something like moon. And interesting is they have only, there is no blueprint. That's good, because our moon has no functionality most time. It's just a static mesh, but we have our moon material. That's nice, which means we need this tube part. I can set up here the moon. I can go here, details, material is already set up. This moon is probably small. Here, one more trick what designers use, and it's very nice. Let's say it's dark, and if you go here out, you will be lost. What I do is I save one position where I go all time back, and right now I want to go back here. This is my position, and here you can press Control 1, and when you press Control 1, and go anywhere and press 1 again, it jumps back to this position. That's very nice. And you can make here, I think, Control 2 free as well for other positions, so you have more positions. But let's go to this moon. So here is this moon, and I have to set this a little bit up so that I can see, because I want see the light perhaps. Why is see nothing there? I don't know. And we scale this up. The moon is probably too low. I go here. I selected still the moon. Let's scale this of 1000. Now the moon is really big, I think. Perhaps too big. Yes. Probably too big. Let's make it 500. Make it 100, not... Let's see. Still big. Alright. Moon is really good. Big now. Let's get you faster. And I think let's make it not 100. Let's make the moon here perhaps 50. Scale of 50. So now you can see I'm lost again. Press again 1. You go to the other position, and let's go here. Slower again. And here I have a still big moon. It's still too big. Let's make it 30 and something like that. I just show you other things, so I think that's now enough. But I don't know what is blocking here. Is there a blocking volume or something like 1 again? I go here. Here is something definitely blocking. So I don't know what this one is, but I will kick this out. So. And see. Yes, now it's better. No, it's not. No, what is going on? What is here? Here is here anything else? I don't know. So, and if you have still problems like me, you can just throw in something like directional light just for this purpose, to test purposes. Ah, now I get it. Here is something like here, and I go here out all the time in the wrong place. Oh, that makes sense now. I go in all time on the wrong place out. Yeah, that's which means we are going and set this moon here and here. All right. So of course you can set the moon here, something like that. And then now I will go out here. It makes more sense. And let's press 1. Let's play from here. All right, that looks already better. And here I see, okay, this one you adjust this later. This one is still too big, I think. And what you can, let's adjust this. Again, this moon is still, oops, let's make it 20 or 50. All right, I think that's much better. And yeah, so the point is now, let's see, play from here, test a little bit and see if you can use this asset. So what I do here is not level design a little bit, but not really, because I try to see if I can use this assets. This here, this moon I have from the Horror engine, this windmill demo, this level here is from windmill, and now I see if they are working together or not. So this is more testing if I can use them. And now let's throw in, for example, let's kick first out this directional light which I put in here. Let's write here directional light, and that was this one here. That was just for test purposes. I jump back. Now I know it's here, and here we can test now if I can find this in my planning phase. Let's go here to my planning phase, and I said here, okay, this flashlight, I need this flashlight here, right? Let's put this flashlight here as well and see if I can use it. Perhaps I can't use it at all. And all right, so I go here again, you go here and say, okay, now I found the moon. Now I want the flashlight and say here, and we have a blueprint. That's very nice. For test purposes, I just throw it here on the ground and I make here play from here. All right. And now I can go here. No, yes, that's working. And now there is, of course, this equipped on the left side. There is something. And now we have this flashlight. Yes, that's working. This flashlight is too powerful in my opinion. It's more like a car light or something. But you can see it is working, right? And you can test now if you like this and not. And yeah, and add all the parts and test it and test it and test it. And you can see me as a non-level designer at all, a non-designer, I can have now this one and still try it as good as I can, even with no knowledge at all. All right, I think I stopped this, and I think you get the idea. What I did so far is, when I go down and back, is I just organized what I want to do, so in very simple way. The first thing we have here, the overview. These assets, I try out these assets, I test them if they work to each other, and all this kind of stuff. What I showed you now is this block, just testing if I can use them, if I have knowledge, if yeah, you already you can of course aim here, but we still not started with our game actually. That was all just testing around, but you can see here one more important thing is, if you have already knowledge about, let's say, assets. What I mean with assets is, if you have already knowledge about packs like this horror engine or this windmill, or there are a million of other packs on a marketplace, how to use them. You can just integrate them and you can make a game very fast. You don't waste time. That's absolute nice to make really nice looking games. And then you can scale this, depends on your game, very high. If you have very high level assets, in my case, PC is very low. That's why I scale it all the time medium and be happy that this is working. And yeah, I think you get the idea, right? So I tested this horror engine. Yes, it works a little bit. I tested this windmill. Yes, I can use this. And later you test more assets, what you want, and get them. And after you have all the assets which you say, okay, these are the all assets which we will use, then it can happen that you still have to create your own assets, which means you don't find the right assets for your game, right? That's possible. That means then a level designer, then a level modeler have to create assets here with this new asset tool, or you can go in Blender or in other 3D modeling software, create their assets and import them, and all kind of stuff like that. Of course, when I say assets, I just not mean just only static assets. I mean also music. That's also asset, blueprints, coding stuff, plugins, all what you can find what helps to make this game. And yeah, and if you can integrate them. So it's not just here when I show you in my planning phase here that this is just here, for example, blueprints. Here is we have blueprints and static meshes. Here we have the whole map. But like I said, assets are also music, sounds, stories, telling, plugins, all things what you can find which is useful for your game. You put this all here, make a planning. You can say, I can use that, I can use that. And all the things which you find here, you will probably not create them, and that's the point, but you have to integrate them, and that still works, so don't forget that. And I think with this one I stopped this, and in the next video I want to start with the next point, which is we finished here get assets and references. We're testing this, learning some tutorials or whatever you made there, and next time we start with our game. So really to start the game, how we start the game, we plan this. It's not a planning, it's a very short planning what I have, because my start game is very simple. I just say you what there is, but we start with our game, and we will probably start with that what we did in the last game as well, but yeah, more in the next game. With that said, if you have any questions, any complaints like old time, write it in the comments. See you in the next video, and good luck. Bye.